Matrices is a more recent maths that was designed for storage of large datasets and calculations of large datasets in computers. An important application you might be familiar with is using matrices to solve simultaneous equations. So here's a simple simultaneous equation that you've seen before that you might use the elimination method for. What we can also do is write it in a matrices format. And I'm just going to go ahead and write that while you're watching. So let's call that matrix A, and that's 2, 1, 6, negative 5. X and Y equals, let's call that matrix X, and B is 8, negative 8. Now if we multiply that out in standard matrix multiplication, we've got 2 times X plus 1 times Y equals 8, which is your first equation. And then we go ahead and multiply the second lot out. We've got 6 by X minus 5 by Y equals negative 8, which is your second equation. In matrices, there's a way of finding the inverse of a matrix. In this case, if we find the inverse of A and multiply it by A and then by X, and then we multiply the inverse of A by B, A inverse times A will give the identity matrix, which will equal just X, because the identity matrix, which looks like this, when multiplied by X will give you X, just like multiplying a simple number by 1. So you're left with the solution to that equation, which will be your values for X and Y. I'm sure all of you are thinking, why do we need to know this? So what if you've got 4 unknowns, or 5 or 6 or even 100? There are practical applications out there, especially in areas like engineering, where you do have that many unknowns, and you need to be able to use calculators and programs to be able to calculate the answers to those unknowns. It's impossible time-wise to do it using simultaneous equations by hand. That's why it was developed. Another more modern practical application is social media data collection. So you might have noticed lately that you go searching for something and all of a sudden you start seeing ads for things, or you've got a friend in your friends list on Facebook, you start seeing friends that might be recommended. Well, that's to do with calculations that they would do within those programs, and some of them would use matrices to calculate connections between people. As part of your Year 11, you'll be doing some very basic modelling of these sort of systems. And lastly, matrices can be used in traffic planning, working out where lights are required due to high numbers of cars, working out where stop signs or extra bypass roads are required. This is a very practical application that many of you may use in the future if you're involved in town planning or working with the council, particularly in engineering departments. So I hope this has made things a little bit clearer for you as to why we would bother with matrices. Please go and check out my other videos for matrices. I will be doing some examples on how to do simple familiar matrix multiplication, some complex familiar and complex unfamiliar that'll help you with your exams. All I ask is please, please, please subscribe, ask others to subscribe, share, get the word out to your friends that this site is here if they want to use it. And if there's any examples that you'd like me to do, I can also do that. Thank you.